March 8th, 2014. 239 people boarded a flight from Malaysia to China. It was supposed to be routine, a normal overnight journey. The aircraft was a Boeing 777, one of the safest and most advanced airliners ever built. The crew was experienced. The weather was clear. Nothing seemed out of place. But within hours, the world would be confronted with one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. Because this aircraft didn't simply crash, it disappeared. At 1:19 a.m., the captain transmitted his final message. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Nothing about those words sounded unusual. Nothing sounded wrong. It was a routine handoff between air traffic control sectors, the kind of exchange that happens thousands of times every day. No one knew. Those would be the last confirmed words ever heard from Flight MH370. Minutes later, the aircraft vanished from civilian radar. At first, nobody panicked. Aircraft occasionally disappear from one radar screen before appearing on another. But this time, MH370 never came back. In the first hours after contact was lost, investigators assumed a technical failure, perhaps a communications malfunction, perhaps an electrical problem, perhaps a sudden crash. But then military radar data revealed something unexpected. MH370 hadn't simply disappeared. It had turned around. The aircraft made a sharp course change, then began flying back across Malaysia. This wasn't random. This wasn't the behavior of an aircraft falling from the sky. Someone or something appeared to be guiding it. And that changed everything. Then investigators uncovered something even stranger. The aircraft's transponder had stopped transmitting. The transponder is the system that tells air traffic controllers who you are and where you are. Without it, an aircraft becomes dramatically harder to track. But MH370 wasn't completely silent. Another system was still responding, quietly, almost invisibly. A satellite communication network operated by Inmarsat. Long after the aircraft vanished from radar, it continued communicating with satellites overhead. Not with messages, not with phone calls, just simple electronic handshakes. Tiny digital responses that effectively said, "I'm still here." Hour after hour, the aircraft continued answering. Somewhere in the darkness, still flying, still alive. Military radar operators would later reconstruct part of the aircraft's path. The results were unsettling. MH370 crossed back over the Malaysian peninsula, then headed northwest, then deeper into empty airspace. For a time, the aircraft could still be seen, a silent target moving across radar screens. Then, eventually, it disappeared into darkness. never to be seen again. Investigators began asking a difficult question. Could a simple equipment failure explain such a deliberate route? Or was someone in control? The Inmarsat engineers faced an impossible challenge. They didn't know where the aircraft was, but they knew the aircraft had answered the satellites. Every handshake contained a clue. Not a location, not a map coordinate, just a measurement of distance. The signal could tell investigators how far the aircraft was from the satellite, but not the direction. For months, teams of mathematicians, engineers, and aviation experts analyzed the data. Eventually, they produced one of the most haunting images in aviation history. A vast arc stretching across the Indian Ocean, thousands of miles long. Somewhere along that line, MH370 had made its final journey. Somewhere along that line, 239 people vanished. The search that followed was unlike anything the aviation world had ever seen. Ships, aircraft, satellites, deep-sea sonar systems. Entire sections of the Indian Ocean were mapped in extraordinary detail. Millions of square kilometers were examined. Years passed, and still, the aircraft remained missing. Investigators found debris washing ashore on the coast of Africa. Several pieces were confirmed to belong to MH370, proof that the aircraft had entered the ocean. But proof alone wasn't enough. The main wreckage was still missing. The flight recorders were still missing. The answers were still missing. Over the years, countless theories emerged. Pilot suicide, hijacking, electrical fire, catastrophic decompression, mechanical failure, secret operations, conspiracies. Some theories answered a few questions. None answered all of them. And that is what makes MH370 different. Not that we have no explanations, but that none of the explanations fully fit the evidence.
MH370. Well, as the search continues, questions have been raised about the need to advance search technology. More than 50 aviation, communications and law experts have come together with the Malaysian government in Kuala Lumpur for 2 days of talks on the issue of real-time monitoring of flight data. Well, leading the delegation on behalf of the International Telecommunications Union is Malcolm Johnson, and he joins me now from Kuala Lumpur. Malcolm, thank you.
Today, parts of the aircraft have been found, but the aircraft itself remains lost. The black boxes remain lost. The final moments inside the cockpit remain unknown. The final hours of 239 people remain hidden beneath the ocean. Perhaps one day, the wreckage will be discovered. Perhaps the answers are still waiting somewhere in the depths of the Indian Ocean. Or perhaps they are already gone forever. But the most unsettling question remains. How can a 240-ton Boeing 777 disappear in an age of satellites, military radar, global tracking systems, and modern technology? And if an aircraft can vanish without a trace, what else can?